Last night, the number 6 ranked UMD women's hockey team blasted the Beavers in game number 1, 8-1. And today they look to break out the brooms for the sweep. But today has a greater meaning as fifth year and the beloved Gabby Hughes looks to reach the 200th point mark. And at the top of the first period, it's the captain and the Olympian who gets a hold of the puck. Ashton Bell dancing towards the twine, making moves, and there it is, sending a laser home for goal number 1 of the day. UMD has the 1-0 early lead. Same period, same Bell with the puck on her stick, and do not hold back. Annika Linzer, what a sequence. Linzer, one of the hottest players in women's college hockey right now, her second on the weekend. It's 2-0 UMD. Now it's Hughes fighting to control the puck. She somehow gives centering pass to Linzer, and Linzer does what she does best for her third on the weekend. Hughes at the brink of 200 career points after that assist with 199. UMD now up 3-0. They go on to earn the 5-0 shutout victory, sweeping the Beavers, marking their 7th dub in a row. And now an up